love that song. Thank you for picking that one, you and Jane. Thank you so much. So, the 12 powers. Could we have that first slide that I did up here? Because I think it's easy if we can, the next one. There we go. So I just thought it would be important for us to begin to understand the 12 powers is a teaching that comes out of unity, and it's very unique to unity. It's not something that you'll find in most other traditions. But you can see right away that it's connected not only to our level of consciousness and the thoughts we're thinking, it's connected into our physical bodies. And for me, being somebody who's been to India many times and being very connected to the subtle body energy that moves in and through the body, that we know as the chakras or the nadis, the systems that run through the body, that activate our energy and the inner vibrations that move to the outer. When I learned about the 12 powers, I was really excited because I felt like this was something where East and West had come together and really integrated our spiritual life, you know, knowing that we are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe, but we have this physical experience. And so the 12 powers is one way we can begin to understand the marriage of the two levels of energy. And as you'll see this picture here, this comes out of the book called The 12 Powers of Man, you know, could be The 12 Powers of Humans, which was a book that was compiled from Charles Fillmore's teachings over the years. And he was very clear that these energy centers are activated in certain parts of our body. And so I thought that was really important for us to begin to understand, not from the sense that we're going to be malpracticing metaphysicians, you know, and saying, oh, you know, I'm not loving enough, that's why I've got a problem with my heart. But it's a way for us to tune in energetically to certain areas of our body and see how we're expressing these qualities or these energies. The first thing I want to say about this is we don't get the powers. The powers are not out there. It's not like you're going to get faith. We all have faith, don't we? We all have all of these powers. They're qualities of our spiritual nature that we all have. It's about, where do I put my faith? You know, where's my imagination taking me? What am I imaging with my power of imagination? What am I willing with my power of will? What kind of order or chaos do I hold in my life because I am claiming the power of order or chaos in my life? So that's a basic understanding that I think is hard for us to kind of grok, but I want us to really hold that in the very beginning, knowing that all of these powers are embedded in each one of us all the time. It doesn't mean that we're necessarily activating all of them all the time. And when we study and begin to understand the metaphysics of the Bible, and we begin as unity students to understand that Jesus was called the Christ meaning the anointed one, the one who carried the fullest expression in a human form of all of these qualities. So, whoops, we lost it. Maybe it'll come back? Maybe not. Okay, well, hopefully it will, because I have another slide that I really want to show you. Not that I didn't think that was great. Did we just lose power? Oh, okay. Oh, well. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you that they're companion powers. And it would be easy to show you on the screen, but I'll just have to talk you through it. So the powers, if we start at the top of the head, and that image had an image that said, I am the Christ, and it was like a divine light on top of the head. That's the idea that we carry all of these in our spiritual nature and literally in our physical body. And the powers, if we go from the top of the head all the way down, the powers are companioned. They work with one another, and you're going to have more insight into that as we move along through the rest of our time today. But the first two powers that are companions are the power of faith and the power of imagination. think about how we are perceiving the world through our power of faith, what we believe to be true, what we know to be true, and at what level do we know it to be true? And also, what do we imagine? Are we imagining a beautiful, powerful experience? Or are we imagining something that we don't want? This is where the song we had today was perfect. Our thoughts are prayers, right? Because whatever we're thinking is going to come about in the outer. Thoughts are things, right? We create what we think about comes about in the world. So the power of faith and imagination are located up here on the top of the head. Faith actually in the pineal gland, which is sort of a vestigial gland that is sensitive to light. Do any of you take melatonin to go to sleep? Melatonin is released by the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is the thing that is connected to the power of faith. Imagination is also connected in that center part of the brain. So both of those are companion powers. One doesn't really exist without the other, if you think about your own life. And we'll be moving more into faith this morning, so you'll hopefully have a better sense of how that works. Moving down, the next two powers are will and understanding. They're also part of the front brain, part of that sort of conscious part of the brain. You can think about how you will something. It's the executive function of the brain, where we make decisions with the power of will. And understanding helps us know at what level we're making those decisions. Where are they coming from? Again, front part of the brain. The next powers that we're looking at are the power that's at the throat. The power of the word, the spoken word, the power of dominion, that we can claim something and make it so. And at the back of the neck, where the medulla oblongata comes in, is the power of zeal, which is an energizing power. So a word that we speak can have a powerful energy. It can energize, and it comes, enthusiasm comes from entheos, which is embedded in the presence of the divine, theology. So zeal and enthusiasm are that, bringing that spiritual power to the words that we speak. Moving down the body, we're into the region of the heart and the chest, and that's where the power of love and the power of wisdom, companion powers, exist. More stomach area, solar plexus area for wisdom. Moving farther down, we have the power of strength and divine order. Strength is in the front part of the belly, and divine orders in the lower part back here. And they're kind of, I always saw them as a balancing power. You know, you have to hold your abs up, or you're going to kind of like slump. And that could hurt your back, right? One of the teachers that I've had, who is Philip Pearson, and he wrote a book, and I'm going to show you this book. He calls these strength and strength and order, he calls it the stabilizing powers, which are kind of like that as well too, because you can think about how important it is to be stabilized in that part of the body. I just want to flag this book. If any of you are super into different intellectual insights, Philip Pearson is your man. It's called The 12 Freedoms. He quotes Bucky Fuller, Teilhard de Chardin, Julian Jaynes, and of course Charles Fillmore. And so if anybody's interested, I'll have this book up here and you could take it. It's a bit of a heavy read, but for some of you this might be just what would really light your fire on the 12 powers. So where'd I leave off? I left off on order and strength. And then the final ones are the power of life and renunciation, or release. So life is about what do I say yes to, and renunciation or release is about what I say no to. And those are in the parts of the body where we're creative and where we're releasing. So all the energy moves down in this field in the physical body as well as in the spiritual body. Any chance we can get my next slide? Because it's really kind of the center of what I want to talk about. We're going to have a repair thing, Jim. The only time I ever do slides, maybe it's my fault. You think it might be my fault? Anyway, so what I want to share with you is I want to focus on faith today. Is it coming? Oh, good. Can we turn this light out? Maybe you'll be able to see it a little better. Because I spent a lot of time creating this slide, so I just want you to see it. Cool. Okay, great. Can you see it, sort of? Great. Okay. So I wanted to focus on faith today because faith is it's like the anchor for all of us. And Fillmore would talk about faith as the master power. But the thing about faith we have to understand is we don't just have it like it's here and we have it forever and it's always the same and we're always going to believe I'm a child of God. I never inherit sickness. Myrtle Fillmore believed that, but it took her hours and hours and hours of meditating and talking to her body so that she could live 40 years later after freeing her body of tuberculosis. The thing about faith is there's a process that we kind of move through as we develop our faith. And this came out of a book by a woman who was a Unity minister. She passed away at age 90 in 2012. Her name was Winifred Wilkinson Hausmann. And I put the quote, the book name, in the sheet that you have inside your bulletin. It's called Your God-Given Potential. She reminds us what I think we often hear about when we're reading Bible stories. Peter is the disciple in the Bible that represents the power of faith. And before he was named Peter, he was a fisherman. And his name was Simon. And when he was Simon, Jesus came to a group of fishermen and said, "Follow me." Peter, at that level, as Simon, represents what we could call the first step of our faith, which is receptivity, where he was open, he was listening. And so being aware of how that is in our own life, are we in that place in our life where we're just being open to the call of Spirit? Beginning to know there's something about our spiritual nature, but we don't really know what it is. Maybe that's not true for many of you who are already here at Unity, but think of people out in the world right now. I feel like, think about people, somebody who's started meditating a lot. I mean, anywhere you go now, meditation is it. 10 years ago, that wasn't the case, right? When those of us started in Unity, meditation was kind of like a weird thing that people were doing. But now, when we begin to be open and receptive, we begin to kind of activate this quality of faith. And what happened with Peter, with Simon, was he became one of the 12 disciples. Again, remember 12 powers, 12 tribes of Egypt, 12 disciples. This number of 12 is it's a mystical number. But this first quality of receptivity is a really important one. And sometimes we need to go back to that step in our own development of faith. It may be just like you're sitting and meditating and all of a sudden you get an insight. Oh, I need to call my friend. And you literally follow up on it. There's a receptivity that can happen for us. The next level of our faith, where we are taking on a deeper knowing, but still more in the mind, is what Hausmann calls assent. And it's when we begin to really accept the fact that we are spiritual beings, that we're not just human, we're not just in this form as human beings, we're not disconnected from the other realms of energy. So it's a baby step, but it's a mental step for us to accept that we are spiritual beings. We're not accepting the fullness of who we are. We haven't said, oh yeah, I've got all those 12 powers yet. The next step is a belief step, and this is an interesting one. I believe with all my thinking ability that I'm a child of God. Imagine somebody coming to Unity who was part of another tradition and had never heard the idea that I am a child of God, or even the understanding that we have of who Jesus is, that he was a way shower for each one of us. Somebody coming here to Unity for the first time might have had a little bit of a brain scramble on that. Like, I don't really understand it, but at some level, I want to believe this is true about who I am. That's that belief level where we begin to start shifting our thinking about the truth of who we are. Super powerful. In each case, Winifred Hausmann has given us an affirmation, and I'm giving you these so that you can feel into your own life. Certain times over the next 2 months, your faith may come and go. It may waver. Think about our friend Peter, some of the stories from the Bible. When the disciples were in the water, out in the boat, and it was dark, and they saw a vision on the water. Remember that? And they're terrified. Oh, it's a ghost. And Jesus calls out, and he says, come to me. And who gets out of the boat? Peter. The first one out is Peter. Peter gets out of the boat because he believes that he is a child of God, and he trusts with all his heart that he is a child of God. He may even be higher up on our steps when he steps out of the boat, because what happens? He's walking toward Jesus, and he's walking on the water. And then what happened? He looks down. Whoa, sinking thinking, right? He fell all the way down to this place. Well, I think it's true, but it's not. I haven't fully embodied it. This happens all the time with our friend Peter in the story in the Bible. So belief is a place where I think we often kind of fall down into that level of, I think this is so, but we haven't really owned it. We haven't pulled it into the level of our heart. We're still kind of up in the mind. Like we can read about it and we say, oh, I agree with that. That next level of trust is like a switch has gone off inside of us, because we've activated the energy and not just the belief that we are one with the presence of God, that we are made in the image of God, but we trust and know it at the level of our emotional nature. We know it at the level of the heart. And I think I've shared this before in terms of my work with India, but one of the things that they've always told us when we do meditations and different practices is that you have to clear all the energy of the lower bodies, the lower chakras, all this lower level before, and you have to flower or open the heart. Be connected to the wisdom of the heart, the 40 million neurons in the heart that connect us to the brain. Until we open that space in the heart, we don't go into we can't really ever get up to the higher consciousness. So it's a super important part for us to be aware of where we are. It is so hot in here. Can we turn the heat down? She's fanning herself and I'm sweating. It was 59 when we came in this morning. So I think we should be blessed by the heat, but Jim's back there messing with it. So trust in the heart is a huge piece. And then we finally move up to what she calls faith. I act on the faith that I am God's perfect child. So this idea that we not only know with a belief I'm a child of God, I know that I'm made in the divine image, but I can literally move out into the world from that awareness, from that deeper knowing. And again, it's one of those we come and go, don't we? We come and go in terms of knowing that that's the truth of who we are. Because it's so easy to look at the outer, like Peter, to look down and go, I'm not supposed to be walking on water. Who do I think I am? How many times do we say that to ourselves? We have an insight of something that we're called to do, and then doubt pops in. We step back down on the steps here. This one conviction I thought was really powerful. Her affirmation for this idea of conviction, because it's, yes, I'm filled with faith. I know and trust that the divine presence is who I am. But this statement, I identify with the truth that I'm a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual laws. If we identified with that, our thoughts or prayers would be embedded in who we are moment to moment. We would know at a deep level of our being that every word we spoke and the energy that we carry would be creating out in the world. We would be so very conscious and mindful of all that we said and all that we did in the world. This level of conviction is very powerful. And to say that it's easy to get there, I don't think it is, because I think it's a practice. All these things take practice. Just even the whole idea of receptivity can take practice for us. And finally, I am the Christ expression of faith. Would that we all could feel that all the time and how we could operate in the world. But if you start looking at this and feeling into it in light of the world that we're living in right now, and noticing how easy it is to pull ourselves away from the knowing and the truth of who we are as divine beings, divine expressions of the presence and power, and how challenging it is to really come back and hold that awareness and be present to what it is that we're creating and co-creating in the world. So what I really wanted to do with us today was to have a beginning process for everyone. And so we're going to go through a meditation, and then after that, I've got Meg in the front and Jeanette in the back, and each one of you is going to be getting one power. You're going to get a card that has one power on it. Where's my card? And on the back of your power is the companion power of your power. You're going to get a power, and on the back is going to be the companion power. And we're going to go through a blessing time where you're going to get to, I'm just going to use the example here. I've got imagination. I'm going to go up to Jeanette and see whatever her power is. And instead of namaste, the divine in me greets the divine in you, I'm going to say the imagination in me greets whatever her card is, greets the order in her. So you're going to have a chance to claim your power walking around the room. Got it? I got a few nodding heads, but it's going to be really fun. And then here's the other cool thing. On the back of your power is handwritten the companion power of your power. So sometime during your walking, I want you to find someone who's got the companion power. You'll be able to see it on the back of your card. So, you okay? Instructions, done, and then we're going to go do a meditation. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes, and we'll turn the lights out. It's kind of dark up here. Thank you. So I invite you to close eyes. Take a nice deep and a conscious breath. And relaxing fully in the body. Taking in another 1 or 2 deep breaths, allowing the breath to relax the body more fully. And bringing your attention and awareness to this moment in time. Feeling into the body, become aware as you scan your body from the top of your head, down through your neck and shoulders, around your heart, moving into the hips and the legs, actually down to the soles of the feet. Just couple times scan your body and notice if there's any tension in any area of your body. And if there is, just bring your attention and awareness to that part of the body. And reflect back on this week. Notice if there have been any high points of experiences you've had, or any experiences that have really caught your attention and moved you into a place of looping consciousness. Just bring your awareness. See what pops into your awareness. Maybe it's a situation that you participated in that brought you a lot of joy and you feel grateful for it. Or maybe it was something that was challenging maybe something in the outer that really caught you and your mind couldn't let it go. Just become aware of whatever it is. And as you become aware of that situation, see if you can put a name to the quality of your experience, your feeling nature. Perhaps you were excited or happy, joyful, or maybe you were angry, saddened, confused, frustrated, or feeling doubtful, feeling hopeful, whatever. Just put a name to whatever that experience was right now. And as you feel into the quality of that emotion, that experience, become aware of your thinking. Are you creating a chaotic future with your thoughts? Are you worrying about something that hasn't happened yet? Are you bringing forward some resentment from the past and just chewing on it? Or are you feeling really connected and in a place of love and joy? Just whatever it is perfect. Perfect for the moment. And now bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows. And if you can visualize a tiny little flame, like a candle flame, sitting right there between your eyebrows. And if you can't visualize, just imagine it, feel it, a little flame between the eyebrows. The light of the Christ presence, the fullness of who you are. And right now, imagine that you're bringing that flame back from the center of your eyebrows into the center of your brain, right there where that pineal gland is, your faith faculty. And just visualize that flame right there, floating in the center of your brain, or feel it floating for a few seconds. Now bring your awareness to your heart. And breathing into the heart. Charles Fillmore said, faith is the perceiving power of the mind, linked with the power to shape substance. What we believe, what we see, we co-create through the power and the presence of the Christ. So we anchor that faith, that Christ presence in the heart, feeling and knowing and trusting that we are ever, ever guided by the divine light. Quietly trust and affirm to yourself, I trust the divine with all my heart. I trust my God with all my heart. And offering gratitude to the presence and power, the whole presence, the holy presence of the divine, moving in and through each one of us as us. Offer your gratitude and blessing, and gently, as you're ready, take another deep breath or two and bring your awareness back to your body. Come back to this room. Gently, I know I'm going to invite Jeanette and Meg to pass out these 12 power cards. Jeanette, you could just do your side because Meg's doing this side. And make sure that our people in the sound booth, Harker's back there with Liz, Marilyn. It's funny? Oh, good. I'm glad. Do you need more? See, let her finish giving and then I'll give you more, how many we need. How many more do you need? Five more on this side. Okay, I just want to see it. Okay. 1, 2, 4. Here's 5. Did you get one? I give you one. So, is anyone missing a power? We could turn the lights on now. Great. Does everyone have their power? Who's happy with your power? Who's confused with her power? It's like, wah! These guys are laughing. Okay, now we're going to get up. We'll take a couple minutes. And again, the namaste is the divine in me greets the divine in you. So I have will. I got will. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say to Jeanette, the will in me greets the power in you. You say, the power in me greets the power in me greets the will in you. There we go. Do we get it? If you don't get it, the partner you have will get it. And then I'm going to go look for whoever is understanding. I'm going to find somebody who's understanding, and you're going to look for somebody who's zeal. Okay, go for it. We can do this. Did you get it? Okay, so